Welcome to Real Talk for Real Life, where we're realizing everyone is always learning and living your full experience. I'm your host, Coach C, and this is season 4, episode 2, Auditioning for Approval. Today's episode, this one right here, this is the one. Because whether we admit it or not, almost all of us have auditioned for approval at some point in our lives. And at my big age, I simply cannot perform for praise. I can't do it. There's a quote that says, "To thine own self be true." And honestly, that's it, y'all. That is it. That's all. Now, let me ask you something. Why is we always auditioning for somebody else's approval? Yes, I know my grammar is wrong. I said it exactly how I wanted to say it because that's how exhausting it sounds. Why is we trying to convince people to pick us, to like us, to validate us, to approve of us? When did somebody else's opinion become the casting director of our lives? The truth is, most of us didn't wake up this way. We were conditioned. As children, we learned to perform. Maybe you became the good child, the quiet one, the responsible one, the smart one, the funny one, the athlete, the peacemaker, the caretaker. We learned early that certain behaviors earned applause. Parents smiled, teachers rewarded us. I remember myself getting Super Kid awards in elementary school. I've got the pictures to prove it. Good grades, good behavior, following directions, staying on task, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with encouragement. But somewhere along the way, many of us stopped performing because it was excellent and started performing because we needed to be accepted. That's where it gets dangerous. Because once approval becomes your fuel, authenticity starts running on empty. You begin filtering everything. Should I say this? Should I wear that? Should I post this? Should I dream this big? Will they like it? Will they understand? Will they stay? Will they approve? Pretty soon, you're living a life that's been edited for everyone else's comfort. Meanwhile, you become a stranger to yourself. Can I tell you something that changed my perspective? I always say I'm endorsed by the greatest, not because I'm arrogant, not because I think I've arrived, but because my validation was settled long before somebody hit like, long before somebody invited me to the table, long before someone recognized my gift. God signed off on my purpose before people ever formed an opinion about me. That's why I refuse to spend my life chasing applause that disappears as quickly as it comes. Here's what I've learned. The same people clapping for you today might criticize you tomorrow. The same crowd asking you to fit in will wonder why you never stood out. People are inconsistent. God isn't. So why would I build my confidence on something that changes with the weather? Here's the truth. God didn't create you to win a popularity contest. He called you before anyone applauded you. Let me say that again. He called you before your family agreed, before your boss noticed, before social media followed, before your friends understood, before your critics stopped talking. Your assignment was never dependent upon unanimous approval. In fact, if you read scripture, many of the people God used most were misunderstood by the very people around them. Here's another thought. Every yes you force to gain acceptance often costs you a no to yourself. Every mask you wear to keep people comfortable slowly suffocates the person God created. At some point, you have to decide, am I building a life that reflects my purpose, or one that simply collects approval? Because those aren't the same thing. Listen, I'd rather disappoint people by being authentic than disappoint God by abandoning who He created me to be. And hear me when I say this. There comes a season where you stop introducing yourself with an audition and simply walk into the room knowing who sent you. No performance, no pretending, no proving, just purpose. So stop trying out for roles in lives where you were never meant to stay. Stop shrinking so insecure people feel comfortable. Stop apologizing for your growth. Stop waiting for permission from people who didn't give you your purpose. Walk like you're already chosen because you are. Remember this, if God has already approved your assignment, why are you still waiting for the audience to approve your entrance? That's your real talk for today. Keep learning, keep living, and never confuse applause with assignment. This is Real Talk, where we're realizing everyone is always learning and living your full experience. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and Facebook at Real Talk for Real Life. That's L.Y.F.E. for more inspiration, merchandise, and motivation between episodes. This is Coach C. I'll see you in the next one.